It is 3:02 on March 23rd, 2022. This is the Senate Finance and Policy Education Committee. We have 4 bills on the agenda today. Many testifiers. We will be efficient and so we can get through all of this. First bill up today is Senate File 2291. Senator Duckworth. No amendments, correct?
No amendments, Mr. Chair.
All right. So tell us what you have going on.
Will do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, Senate File 2291 is a bill that essentially to ensure quality instruction. Current law requires that a person employed by a school district to provide American Sign Language or ASL/English interpreting or sign services for deaf and hard of hearing students must hold a specific certification and have completed accredited training. This bill would create another method to be eligible for school employment in this area. Under the bill, a person could, as another option, hold a certified deaf interpreter certification issued by the Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf. And with that being said, Mr. Chair, I'll allow our testifiers to elaborate further on this bill and how it will be impactful within our schools. Thank you. Must not be here, Mr. Chair. Oh, there we go.
Hear me okay, first of all? Can you hear me? Hello. I will go ahead and start. Hello and good afternoon. I would like to start by saying my name is Jimmy Belden. I am a working certified deaf interpreter since 1993. I was actually certified in 2001 by the Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf. I'm also a professor at St. Catherine's University in the past, a member of the RID, Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf organization as a board member, and currently run an organization that schedules ASL interpreters. I'm a father of 6 children, 5 of them are deaf. Thank you for allowing me to testify about this important issue of deaf interpreters in educational settings. Deaf interpreters have existed long before RID established and implemented the certification. Certified deaf interpreters have worked in many settings, including legal, medical, mental health, jobs, interview, training. Yet CDIs have not been in the classroom except for special pilots and permissions within the Minnesota school districts. Other states have involved CDIs in classrooms. I personally have seen the successes of communication being established between non-deaf and deaf individuals in educational settings. While deaf students bring unique communication requirements in the classroom, ultimately, they are students. Some of them are coming from families with no communication at all, either spoken English or ASL. Some enroll in school and learn how to communicate for the first time, starting with home signs, gestures, and a bit of ASL. Educational interpreter role in the classroom is to faithfully convey the spirit and content of the communication occurring in the classroom. Educational interpreters provide deaf and hard of hearing students access in the classroom communication and peer interactions. Non-deaf interpreters, a large percentage of them are second language learners of ASL. for formal training such as interpreters in educational programs, post-secondary programs. These are non-deaf interpreters. They experience difficulties at times to establish effective communication that allows deaf students who are beginning in early age to understand the language. Deaf interpreters are native American Sign Language users and already possess the skills to provide effective interpreting using an array of communication strategies, including protactile techniques, gestures, sign modeling, most ASL since birth. Deaf interpreters also can recognize deaf students in classes when they're struggling or overwhelmed or frustrated because of the environment, and at home where there's no communication among family members, or just the day-to-day oppression of being a deaf person in this hearing world. With that said, deaf interpreters can ease these issues at the school by providing effective communication, including sociocultural experiences. They eventually will be our taxpayers, not only for the students with language deficits. Let's focus on these deaf students who may come from families where there are language access, such as family members learn ASL fluently or family members who are also deaf. Deaf interpreters will contribute greatly to these deaf students' access to their curricular fully equal to the non-deaf students at each class level, because deaf students are already fluent in American Sign Language and capable of providing academics successfully in ASL through interpretation. Again, they will be our future taxpayers. I humbly request you support Senate File 2291, which will be best in the best interest of deaf students, of unique communication requirements to have deaf interpreters in the classroom and allow deaf students to access the curriculums effectively, and let us give them the equal opportunity to shine for the rest of their lives, as we do with non-deaf students in the state of Minnesota. It's time for us to provide deaf students appropriate interpreting services in lieu with other states, what other states are doing already for our deaf students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Belden. Next up is it Dove Nathanson? Did she?
Dove, Mr. Chair.
Online. Dove?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Welcome the committee. You may begin when you are ready, Mr. Nathanson.
All right, well, hello. My name is Dove Nathanson, and I am a 10th grader. I am profoundly deaf, and ASL is my native language. For 9 years, I've been denied equitable access to my education because school districts said that there was no legal recognition for certified deaf interpreters, abbreviated CDIs. That's within the K through 12 systems. CDIs are trained linguistic and cultural experts that work with deaf and hard of hearing people to ensure equitable access. Being denied that support has caused me to struggle academically and contributed to delays in my educational progress. Unfortunately, another perfect example happened just a few weeks ago. I was assigned a substitute interpreter that it did not use ASL, but they used another form of sign language. It was test review day in several of my classes that day, and I was so frustrated that I could not get the needed information to prepare for my test. This put additional time and burden on me to follow up with the teachers to get the information from them. I've endured years of many experiences like this one, and I'm tired. I only have a few years left before I graduate, and it is not okay that I and others have to experience this unnecessary barrier. This is totally preventable, and the solution to the problem seems to be simple enough. Fix the statute to give CDIs the professional recognition they deserve. My family and friends have advocated for this necessary change for several years now, working with Minnesota Department of Education and Minnesota Commission of Deaf, Deafblind, and Hard of Hearing. I want to thank the author of this bill for being willing to support me in making sure every deaf and hard of hearing student has access to education and bringing this bill forth. I request that you pass this bill so that this excuse can no longer be used to deny access to kids like me anymore. I need full language access for my education and my future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nathanson. Next up is Alicia Lane Outlaw, also on Zoom. You just who you're with and your name, and you may start. Thank you.
I'm still connecting to audio, so if you could just give the interpreter 1 moment to connect.
And this is just a sound test. You can hear me all right? Wonderful. Great. Good afternoon, Chair Chamberlain and committee members. My name is Alicia Lane Outlaw, and I am testifying as the Government Relations Director for the Minnesota Commission of the Deaf, Deafblind, and Hard of Hearing. I'm here to express the Commission's support for Senate File 2291. Families with deaf and hard of hearing children can and do pop up in any community. Across Minnesota, communities have varying needs, and likewise, the needs of these families vary greatly. There's no one size that fits all, and this is why we must ensure we are providing these families opportunities across a full spectrum of educational programs. This spectrum includes providing deaf interpreters to enhance language acquisition and content learning for children who do not receive direct instruction in sign language. Let me pause for a moment to share some of my personal experiences as a deaf child in a hearing classroom. I was born to hearing parents, and I have had no measurable hearing since becoming deaf as a toddler. Most of my school career, I was the sole deaf child among hearing classmates with hearing interpreters. Direct instruction was not available to me. My hearing interpreters did their best, but trying to learn through an interpreter for hours on end was exhausting, frustrating, and inefficient. Imagine that you, as a hearing person, had to sit in class all day with headphones. The only thing you hear is a voice with a thick accent speak in monotone, awkward English. If you're lucky, this English may be mostly accurate. But because the translator is not a native English speaker and the translation process itself has a high cognitive load, words end up in a strange order and sounds are pronounced differently. You have to work extra hard just to figure out the main point. Nuances, you can forget those. Imagine how exhausted and confused you would feel after hours of listening to that. In that same amount of time, everyone else around you was able to focus fully on learning the content, and you're perpetually behind. I was fortunate to have strong reading skills and parents at home who signed to partially compensate for lost time in the classroom. Not all children have these advantages, and too many of them fall through the cracks. Watching a hearing interpreter for hours on end is a massive cognitive burden to put on a child. A CDI helps to remove some of that cognitive burden so that the child can focus more deeply on learning the actual content. The goal of Senate File 2291 is simple. Include certified deaf interpreters in existing educational interpreting statutes. The way that the current statutes are written, they exclude CDIs from being considered educational interpreters in the state of Minnesota. CDIs have knowledge and experience on par with hearing interpreters, and there's no reason they should not be viewed as educational interpreters by the state of Minnesota. Please support Senate File 2291 to be inclusive of CDIs as part of providing a true spectrum of educational opportunities for the deaf and hard of hearing children of Minnesota. The Minnesota Commission of the Deaf, Deafblind, and Hard of Hearing thanks Senators Duckworth and Isaacson for supporting this bill, and I thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Lane Outlaw. Appreciate that. So last up is Mr. Vincent Clark, also Zoom online. You may proceed when you're ready. I see Sharon Clark is with Mr. Clark, so thank you. You may go ahead when you're ready.
Oh, I see. I'm up. Good afternoon. My name is Vincent Clark. I am a deaf-blind individual, and today I actually want to discuss Senate File 2291, specifically 2291's bill requesting that your committee recognize certified deaf interpreters in the classroom. What this means is equal access to communication for deaf individuals who are deaf, deafblind, and hard of hearing. Equal communication. I think about that. Where does a deafblind student have equal communication access? We are talking about English here, but we never talk about, you've talked about the deaf, and I want to give attention and nod to the deaf-blind individuals and equal communication there. I'll send my writings and my testimony I did to you, and I would respectfully add you to add that to Senate File 2291 to be recognized and trained in pro-tactile as interpreters that work with the deaf-blind individual tactily. And for students in the classroom, what that means is equal communication and equal access. Having a certified deaf interpreter there with pro-tactile skills is what is needed. That is equal access. I wrote my testimony and I have attached the link. Please click on the link and you will get an idea of what pro-tactile looks like. Now I'd like to talk about ASL and tactile ASL. For a deaf-blind individual to be able to see and understand what's going on, they're disconnected from their environment and therefore misunderstanding. An interpreter that's pro-tactily trained is able to physically provide environmental information, including facial expressions, how the room is arranged, the lighting, the setup, the dynamics of the class in the educational classroom. The Minnesota Department of Ed needs to have an accounting of 124 deaf, blind individuals currently. I think there's actually more than that. But Minnesota currently is fortunate to have, 2 certified deaf protactile interpreter. My son, John Lee Clark, and myself, both are certified in training protactile interpreters. We want to provide that training to interpreters, and we're supported by a federal grant. It's called the Deaf Blind Interpreter Intern Training from Western Oregon University. There are different interpreters within Minnesota and throughout the state that can access that program where you get training and learning how to use protactile and provide more clear communication. I am asking you to support the deaf-blind students to also have equal access. I'm asking for your support. I do care as a deaf-blind former student, and I care about the deaf-blind students here in Minnesota. We cherish equal access. Thank you for letting me speak. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clark. So that concludes the testimony. That's all the testifiers we have. Good stuff, Senator Duckworth. Thank you for working on this. Just a question on the fiscal note. Are they assuming that, so what you're doing, 2 questions. What you're doing here is you're just adding a category here to who could be in a classroom to interpret, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So we would be adding another certification that would be recognized that could provide these services in the classroom for students, and then also, as a result of providing those services and being recognized by state statute, they can be compensated for providing those services.
Okay. And on the fiscal note, I see Ms. Holfer came up. So is it assumed, I looked at the fiscal note a little bit, is it assumed that, to me, the legislation says you may also include this other group of certified interpreters and allow them in the classroom, so it's not mandating anything. Is it an assumption on the part of the fiscal note that they would actually hire people? Because there's not a mandate in the bill. Is it an assumption or what? Can you help us out? Thank you.
Mr. Chair, thank you for the question. So the fiscal note does assume that districts need about 10 additional certified deaf interpreters. And as a result of the language at line 2.29 and 2.30 of the bill, these CDIs would be allowed to be included in the definition of essential personnel, which is used in the calculation of special education aid. So as a result, MDE assumes these 10 additional CDIs would be hired, and that would increase special education aid to districts by about $268,000 in fiscal year 2023 and about $305,000 per year after.
To your point, Mr. Chair,
Senator Duckworth?
the fiscal note says if they're required to add. There was some discussion in the House regarding the fiscal note as to whether or not 10 additional hires would be able to be made, or if somebody with this certification is hired rather than someone with just an ASL certification. So I know we always say that sometimes these fiscal notes may be a little on the high side. In this case, that certainly well could be the case. And again, it's if 10 additional are required, which is an estimation or an approximation just based on what they think could play out across the state.
All right, thank you, members. We're going to move on. We got several more bills to go. Senator Isaacson?
Just real brief, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say thank you to Senator Duckworth and for taking this issue on and working with the House on that. See the other body that shall not be named, I'm sorry. And looking forward to seeing this bill pass along. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Isaacson. So there is a cost to it. We want to keep it rolling, so we're going to send it over to Finance right now. And That's what we'll do with it right now. There's always options and keep it moving. So Senator Duckworth moves that Senate File 2291 be approved and passed on to Senate Finance Committee. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, unanimous. Thank you, Senator Duckworth. Thank you, testifiers. Thank you very much for all that. Next up is Senator Coleman, Senate File 3818. Welcome, Senator Coleman. You have an amendment, right, A2?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
The author's amendment, well, no. You were at you were in higher ed, right? So we have an A2 amendment. Senator Coleman will move the A2 amendment be adopted. Any discussion on the A2? Senator Coleman, you want to explain that quick?
Yes, Mr. Chair. When we first presented in higher ed, we were still in conversations with MDE and OHE. And so after talking to them, the amendment it has some technical cleanups, a little change to the grant program. Some of the technical fixes, it changes in subdivision 1, remove the definition of eligible student, which relates to including the student expenses in the competitive grant that I'll describe below. In subdivision 3, we clarify that the program is for high schools, vocational center schools from section 120A, and any combination of secondary schools. We also add energy as a sample career pathway in subdivision 4, after hearing from some clean energy organizations that are interested in this program. And then we incorporated feedback from the Office of Higher Education in the section about competitive grants. We needed to move the statutory reference to 136A, since those are the statutory sections that govern their work. We give permission to OHE to work with MDE and Department of Labor on the competitive grants. And rather than provide students with a direct reimbursement, we incorporate those reimbursements into the competitive grants. We also update the amount of the grant and, upon request of OHE, provide the language for administering the grant. And, Mr. Chair, I can give an overview of the bill now or after you move the amendment.
We'll adopt the amendment and then we'll run through your bill. Members, all in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Senator Coleman, you want to overview your bill? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this program, the Skills Path Bill, creates a special designation for programs that provide students with clear pathways from high school to careers in skilled work and the trades. There are many options for students interested in skilled careers. However, with so many options, it can be difficult for students to navigate these pieces to start preparing for skilled careers while in high school. The Skills Path designation that is being proposed in this bill will bring these pieces together to define career pathways in skilled industries. By developing Skills Path programs, schools provide the necessary information about the pathways from high school to careers, taking the guesswork out of a complicated puzzle. Skills Path programs demonstrate how students can earn post-secondary degrees in less time by combining high school with post-secondary credits through dual credit and concurrent enrollment options. In many cases, students may be able to utilize dual credit and workforce scholarships to earn an associate's degree with minimal cost to students. The bill also encourages secondary, post-secondary, and other training institutions to create two-year programs that bridge high school and college toward associate degrees. Skills Path programs also incorporate experiential learning and on-the-job training, which is also important for career exploration in skilled work and the trades. The Senate championed the Youth Skills Training Program several years ago, which gives students a chance to experience work in skilled industries. Those programs, as well as other on-the-job training programs, are incorporated into Skills Path as well. How this will work is that the Minnesota Department of Education, the Office of Higher Education, and the Minnesota Department of Labor will establish an application for programs to be designated as Skills Path. Grant funding will help incent development and marketing of these programs and help students with the cost of materials and equipment. The Skills Path designation will be a strong marketing tool to help high school students understand their career pathways in the trades, which will have long-term effects in expanding Minnesota's skilled workforce and growing the economy. And Mr. Chair, I do have Ms. Amy Wallstein here to talk a little bit more about the bill.
Thank you, Senator Coleman. Ms. Wallstein, welcome to the committee. Please state your name, who you're with for the record, and you may begin. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator Coleman. Thank you for the opportunity to testify on Senate File 3818 today. My name is Amy Wallstein. I'm the Education Policy and Workforce Development Director for the Minnesota Business Partnership. Our members are the 115 CEOs and senior leaders from Minnesota's largest employers, and we focus on policy that ensures Minnesota students are well prepared for careers in the global economy. We believe that one of the best strategies to expand Minnesota's skilled workforce is for employers to partner with education providers to strengthen programs focused on helping students and job seekers. The Minnesota Business Partnership, Minnesota Chamber of Commerce, and the Minnesota Precision Manufacturing Association, who's also here today, were pleased to participate in the Senate Higher Education Committee Workforce Partnership Tour in the fall of 2019. We visited many of your communities, and we heard a similar message in every community we had visited. Building a skilled workforce must start early. Some examples from that tour: in White Bear Lake, we visited Serenity Senior Care to learn about the Health Services Career Pathway program. And that's a program developed through the White Bear Lake High School, or the White Bear Lake School District, and through their Generation Z Connection program. In Grand Rapids, we visited Itasca Community College to learn about the Iron Range Engineering Program, the Applied Learning Institute, and the Rock Ridge High School Career Academy. All these programs are focused on unifying efforts to ensure that students understand the pathways ahead. Skills Path builds on the success of these partnership programs by creating marketing tools to make sure students understand how to get from high school to career. As we know from talking to school districts, there are many options for students, including concurrent enrollment and PSEO, apprenticeships, et cetera. But what the Skills Path designation will do is empower high schools and post-secondary institutions to work more closely together to help students understand what a manufacturing skills pathway looks like, or an EMT skills pathway looks like. Skills Path brings these pieces together and helps them make them understandable and accessible for students. Many school districts, like the one we'll hear from next, have already begun this work to help students prepare for skilled careers. There's much more to do, and we believe that the designation of a Skills Path program and the collaboration it incents will help bring the pieces together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wallstein. Next up, Mr. Patrick Devine, here on Zoom. And you may state your name and who you're with for the record. You may begin. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, all other senators on the call and everybody else on this call. My name is Pat Devine. I'm the superintendent of Waconia Public Schools. And I thank Senator Coleman for inviting me here to testify today in front of you. Just give you a little quick history of us at Waconia. It's my 8th year as a superintendent, and one of the things I came into our school district and found that there wasn't a lot of pathways for manufacturing and other industries, and including medicine and so on. So the first 3 months of my job, I called in after 3 months and called in every manufacturer in the town and the surrounding communities for a breakfast and said, we have to start partnering to help you find a workforce. And they were so pleased to hear that there was a school leadership looking for that. Since then, we've developed a really good partnership with quite a few of our area businesses, manufacturers, medical, and businesses where we have a monthly breakfast where they come in and they talk to students about career paths and where they can head. We've done some internship and apprenticeship programs. Those get a little tough because of the OSHA guidelines and how much work they can actually do in the manufacturing. They're more of a shadow internship or apprenticeship. So if we have any leverage with the federal OSHA guidelines, that would help us. And then we've done some work with the chamber and been able to capitalize on their teacher in the workforce training over the summer. And we've had our teachers go out into the manufacturing field so they know exactly what pathways our students would have for a skills path. Through all that, we've really enhanced the awareness for our students to see that there's other pathways for careers moving forward. I would say that our one of our biggest obstacles or stumbling blocks would be that parents don't quite see that their child should think about these pathways. And so I'm really interested in this bill because of the marketing piece. I'm interested because of the OSHA piece, but I'm also have a passion in this area that I think as a school, we need to provide a workforce for every type of employee out there. And I think we concentrated quite a bit of my career of saying, if you're not a 4 years college student, you're really not worthy of being in our schools. You should graduate and always think about going to a 4-year school. So this skills path really helps us show our students where there's other avenues and other skills paths that they can go for a career. And when in doing so, it's a better match because there's a lot of our students that this is where they would be best suited for a career and they're not aware of it. So I think it really complements the work that we've been doing in Waconia. I would say the other thing that one of the fun things that we did this last spring, and now it's going to be an annual tradition, is we always highlight our athletic departments by saying, hey, we have a signing day of when these kids are going to go to a college and play in a college sport. Well, we're doing a signing day if you're going to go into a manufacturing field and go back and work for the manufacturer that we've aligned and partnered with. So that's been a really fun event for us to celebrate. So I really think that Senator Coleman is onto something here that schools need to provide more awareness of the skills pathways, and this really tightens it up and aligns it in the way that we've been doing at Waconia. So I'm very thankful to testify today and to be able to answer any questions, but we've had some really good things happening here, but this skills path bill would really help enhance what we're doing and take it to the next level. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Devine. Next up is Lane DeSalvo. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name and who you're with for the record, and you may begin. Lane DeSalvo, there you are. So go ahead and state your name and who you're with, and you may begin. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Lane DeSalvo. I work for the Minnesota Office of Higher Education. I had initially intended to testify on this bill, but everything that all the input that we had was included in the amendment. So I actually don't have much to add, but I'm here for questions if anybody has any later.
Well, we should track you down and give you a big bonus for that. That's pretty amazing. So we have one technical thing I think we'll finish, otherwise I'll forget, and then we'll go on to Mr. Coleman. The smart people, the staff found a small technical fix that has to go on your amendment. I don't know, maybe if you're aware of it. It's 2.18 of your amendment. The reference to 136A092 should be 136A247. So on the back, page 2.18 of the amendment, 136A092 should be 136A247. And I'll just have, does that make sense?
Yeah, I just thank you for pointing that out.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Lane DeSalvo. That was for Senator Coleman. That was my fault. But if you can answer that, go ahead. I mean, you know what that is. Sorry about that. So Senator Coleman, does that make sense, or do we just trust our wonderful staff over there?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do trust the staff, but if Lane wanted to give an overview, I'd be more than happy to hear.
Is that Ms. Hoffer or Betsy or Anne Marie? You're up. I guess we'll just find out what that reference is quick, and then we know the change, just why the reference changed. So everybody's comfortable.
Every day.
Thank you, Ms. Marie.
Mr. Chair, members, Emery Lewis, Senate Counsel. The reference on 2.18 that was incorrect is needs to be matched with the reference on 1.13 of the amendment. So that's just to make sure it matches. That the grant program is the one listed in the amendment.
Oh, yes, okay, gotcha. 138, 136A, 247 is on line point 1.13. All right, thank you. So, members, this will be amendment to the amendment. As the amendment is adopted, so the amendment to the bill. All right, as it is. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's adopted. Thank you for allowing us to make that fix before I forgot. So, the next testifier is Mr. Kalina, Steve Kalina, on Zoom again. So, welcome to the committee. Please state your name and who you're with for the record. You may begin. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair, Mr. Chair, and committee members. I want to thank you for having me today, as well as Senator Coleman for writing this bill. Again, my name is Steve Kalina. I'm the president of the Minnesota Precision Manufacturing Association and a lifelong manufacturer myself. So, every day kids can open up their computers and kind of get an idea of what an IT career is about. They can go to the zoo and see what it's like to be a biologist, and they can turn on their TV, see what it's like to be a doctor, lawyer, or police officer. And every day, fast food is still hiring young workers at $13, $14 an hour, while manufacturers just down the road can't hire the same young workers for $20 an hour with career paths and benefits. Parents are still struggling to be okay with sending their kids into the trades. Counselors and teachers that have four-year degrees themselves are typically not familiar with the trades. And even with the vaccination, Governor Walz put up the $100,000 scholarship for the vaccinations, which kind of insinuated the four-year degree path. So even though we've made headway, we're still the conversation really still revolves around four-year degrees. And what we're talking about today isn't, button pusher type jobs. We're not talking about assembly line jobs. Those jobs still exist, and they are still great career opportunities as kind of stepping stones. But more what we're talking about is the career paths towards the high-skilled, very intelligent career paths, very great opportunities, machining, programming, tool making, jobs that are very challenging and great career paths and great pay. If you look at the tech schools today, the average age are in the mid-20s. And why is that? Well, it's because typically students aren't really getting familiar with what options they have while they're in high school. They're not sure what direction they want to take. They're kind of being led into the four-year degree path. And so when they graduate, they go down that path. And many years later, they might figure out that it was the wrong path. And unfortunately, many times that comes with a heavy cost. So obviously, that's why students are coming back to potentially go into the trades when they're, in the mid-20s. As Ms. Wallstein talked about, I think there is, there's a lot of great programs at some of these many schools, PSEO programs, the YST program, programs, the workforce development scholarships from Minnesota State, pipeline program with Department of Labor. And then, of course, employers are often willing to help in these with these opportunities, too. So for the most part, kids could end up going to tech school for free. I mean, getting a two-year degree at no cost to themselves, coming out with no debt and having a great career path, making $60,000, $70,000 right out of tech school. But the problem is the kids just aren't familiar with these paths and they're not taking those opportunities. So right now, I talk to MTMA is made of hundreds of manufacturers. So I talk to manufacturers all the time. Labor is the number one priority right now. We're short on labor. We've got an aging labor force. Many of our top skilled workers are 55 years old or older and just a few short years from retirement. Our shops are innovating. They're finding ways to do more with less labor, but there's just such a gap. And right now we're facing a time crunch where even if we found the labor today, we are facing big challenges with getting that labor skilled up in time to keep our production going. So we're talking about life-saving medical devices. We're talking about defense systems that we need, products that shops can't produce right now. They're shutting down. They're pushing out deliveries. Shops that have never turned away work in their history are turning away work now. So we're talking about products that we need, and we need labor to be able to produce. One of the things that our association MPMA put together in the last couple of years is an academy that is really focused on putting more of the responsibility on the manufacturers themselves to be a part of the training process, to then partner with the schools. So I can tell you that our businesses want to partner. They want to be a part of this process. But as Commissioner Grove will tell you, about 80% of manufacturers in Minnesota are 50 employees or less. So we're not talking about the big players here. We're talking about a lot of small family-owned businesses that need help. They need some guidance. They need assistance. They need someone to kind of show them some of these programs. And in return, or along with that, we need the educators and the students to be aware of these programs too. So again, there's great programs that the state has, that the Department of Education has. We're not looking for handouts. We're looking for assistance to make to help bridge the gap in those programs. So I think this bill, the great benefit of this bill is that it helps bridge that gap, so that we have more awareness of the students and a better connection to industry, so that we can take better advantage of the programs we have. So thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee members, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Kalina. All right, that's all the testifiers. Members, questions, comments? Senator Kunish and then Senator Uyghur.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Coleman, can you tell me, how is this program any different from like the PSEO programs and the school to trade programs that we already have?
Senator Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the question. Some of the feedback that we've been getting is there isn't a clear pathway. There's all of these different programs and all of these different opportunities, but there's no bridge. There's no pathway from high school into these careers. And Ms. Walstein can touch a little bit more on that as well. But that's some of the feedback we got and some of the problems we tried to solve in this bill.
Senator Kunish.
I'd like to hear from our testifier.
Mr. Chair and Senator Kunish, one of the pieces of this bill is a designation of what a skills path program. So what we'd envision is schools would partner with, or secondary school and a post-secondary school or institution would partner to kind of lay out what the classes are that students would need to take while they're in secondary, what some post-secondary options could be for them. In some cases, PSEO, current technical education classes, or concurrent enrollment, articulated credit classes that would still be on site at the high school, but they'd be getting the dual credit for those classes through the post-secondary school. And then options for what comes next. So, for example, there's a lot of employers, especially in manufacturing, who participate in what's called the pipeline program through the Department of Labor. And a person has to have a classroom training component and on-the-job training component through that. So what we could envision is a manufacturing skills path program designation that would lay out all those different steps for students so that they'd have a roadmap to a career in manufacturing.
Follow up?
Senator Kunish.
And I understand this. This is a really valuable tool for our students and for manufacturing business. I actually have a daughter that went through PSEO and earned an associate degree by the time she graduated from high school. So I really understand the value of these programs. And again, I'm going to be kind of banging that drum again. I have a little bit of an issue with using our taxpayer education dollars on marketing efforts to help our students understand what these opportunities are. I mean, I can imagine, and I know back in the day, there used to be job fairs on the weekend where businesses and manufacturers would be able to come to the school or the community center and share their information and help the students understand their options. And so I guess I really do have a little bit of a big issue with using dollars for marketing efforts and then the school having to coordinate that communication with families and students and businesses. One other thing that I just want to maybe ask a little bit about, it says that the school is then responsible for reimbursement of tuition, books, required tools, and other expenses necessary for participation in the program. And I know that it can get expensive to take some of these courses, especially when we talk about tools. You talk about steel-toed boots and the kind of clothing and special hats and equipment that the students would need. That would now put the burden on the school district, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm wondering about like transportation. If a student doesn't have a car or there's not public transportation, is that school district now responsible for supplying all of those items?
Senator Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll hand it over to Ms. Wallstein.
Mr. Chair, Senator Kunish, one of the things that we have learned through the Youth Skills Training Program that's been in place since 2017, it's a Department of Labor program that it's a pathway for student learners to have experiential learning on the job sites, particularly used in manufacturing again and healthcare. One of the things that we learned through that program is that an incentive, like a Jumpstart grant, helps to fuel the collaboration. And so I think that's what we modeled this competitive grant piece after, was kind of like a pilot, like a Jumpstart grant of funding for school districts to, determine what they need to make that collaboration happen. So it's not envisioned so much as like ongoing state funding for marketing as it is to jumpstart the collaboration to develop these skill path programs. And then with regards to your comment on boots and equipment, we had originally started to look at a scholarship program to help students who were going to be in like career and tech ed and PSEO classes where they would be required to have, boots and tools, because those things are very expensive. But in talking with Office of Higher Ed, it became apparent that that would be prohibitive to do it as a direct scholarship to students. And so we incorporated it into the competitive grant. So schools could budget for the kids who would need those things to participate.
Follow-up, Chair?
Well, we had to keep moving. We got two other members who want questions, and we got two more bills with several testifiers on those as well.
I just have one quick question.
Quickly, Senator
Okay.
Kunish.
So when the students are, like with PSEO, when a student leaves the school building and goes to another program, the school district is now responsible for paying the tuition and the books and supplying technology and that sort of thing. And then because that student is now off-site, the school districts lose income, or they lose some funding. So you're saying, no, it wouldn't happen with this project?
Senator
Thank
Coleman.
you.
Senator Kunish, I believe our amendment in higher ed allows them to keep their day funding for the student,
Yes.
even if they go off-site.
100%?
That is correct. And we
Okay.
have a bill coming up that helps with that, too.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Senator Uyghur, quickly, and then Senator Isaacson.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I was going to give a strong pitch as to why this is very important to our mission, and I support it. I did want to ask the author, though, to comment about the need for additional counselors, because I think we do probably rate with Mississippi on that for our high ratio for counselors and students and the many other needs. And so having a program's good, but also having enough staff to effectively get that message out.
Senator
Any
Uyghur.
comments on that?
You can answer that if you want, Senator Coleman, but it's really not specific to the bill. It is an issue that is ongoing, but again, these bills don't solve all problems for everybody, but Senator Coleman, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the support, Senator Uyghur. And, you know, as this bill gets rolled out and starts kind of pioneering the skills path, I welcome counselors to reach out and let me know how this impacts their workload and ability to serve the students, and we can kind of navigate it from there.
Thank you, Senator Coleman. Senator Isaacson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Coleman, does this bill put any money towards programs around private schools?
Senator Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Senator Isaacson. I believe we wrote it broadly enough so that all students are eligible to receive it. Ms. Wallstein can confirm.
Mr. Chair, Senator Coleman. Senator Isaacson.
Ms. Wallstein.
PSEO programs are open to non-public students, so we did leave it broad in in which institutions could comply or apply for a competitive grant.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Senator Coleman, closing comment?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members, for the discussion on this today. We all know that there's a need for more people to go into the trades, and there's a need for more students to understand that there are valuable opportunities and to be able to learn the skills to open up the doors for those opportunities. And it is my intent and hope with this bill that we can begin to make progress in that department. So thank you very much for the time today.
Thank you, Senator Coleman. Good idea, solving problems, and better yet, it's going back to higher ed because it's their money. So, good. Members, with that, Senate File 3818 is approved, recommended pass as amended, and moved back to higher ed. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Good, good. Thank you, Senator Coleman. And Senator Coleman gets to stay put. So now we have
PSEO Day.
Senate File 4087. And you don't have an amendment on this, I don't think.
I don't believe so, Mr. Chair.
So this is old-fashioned PSEOs. Last bill was good. So what do you have for us here, Senator Coleman?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Minnesota's post-secondary enrollment options law allows public and non-public students in 10th, 11th, and 12th grades to earn college credit while still in high school through enrollment in college courses at eligible post-secondary institutions and or through concurrent enrollment where college-level courses are offered by their own high school. Students generate both college credit and high school credit upon successful completion of these courses. What this bill proposes is to further enhance the PSEO statute by eliminating limits on post-secondary institutions providing information to high school students and parents through advertising and recruiting, requiring better reporting of concurrent enrollment courses and participation rates of students, and requiring school boards with weighted grade point average policies to apply the same standards to grades earned by students regardless of where they are enrolled for post-secondary courses. And with that, I'll let us get right to the testifiers, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Coleman. First on the list is Mr. Joe Nathan, and you're zooming, I guess? No, you're there. Thank you, Senator Isaacson.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, thanks to Senator Coleman. I'll be very brief. This is an example of a bipartisan bill. It was bipartisan in 1985. It has continued to be bipartisan. A number of people around this table have been deeply involved in this. It has resulted not only in more than 200,000 youngsters earning credit in the trades, in technical and career, as well as in more traditional academic. It has also stimulated many high schools throughout the state of Minnesota to increase the number of advanced placement, international baccalaureate, college in the school, so it has stimulated high schools to improve. Moreover, and I will make this last point, recognizing the limited time, you have in your documents a one-page summary of Minnesota Department of Education research showing the dramatic positive impact that this can have on helping to close graduation gaps between kids of different races. You also have a one-page summary of research showing that although this is very valuable for all kids throughout the state, dual credit is valuable for all kids, rural, urban, suburban, regardless of race or ethnicity. Though it's very valuable for all kids, it is especially valuable for low-income and kids of color, Native American kids. And so this is a real triumph. This law has been recognized nationally as one of the outstanding things that we have done over the years, and it has received bipartisan support. It's had a huge positive impact, and the ideas in this bill will not cost the state of Minnesota a cent of additional money. We've also demonstrated through a former staff member of the Minnesota Senate that the PSEO program saves families about $60 million a year, and it saves, because of reduced costs in higher education, it saves the Minnesota taxpayers about $15 million a year. So thank you for hearing the bill, and thanks for considering it.
Thank you for your continued advocacy, Mr. Nathan. In support of the program. Next up on the list, I was told that Beatrice Handlin, that's you. Okay, welcome to the committee. Please state your name and who you're with for the record. You may begin. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Chair and the rest of the committee. My name is Beatrice Handlin. I am from White Bear Lake, Minnesota. I am here to testify in support of SF 4087 because I was myself a low-income PSEO student. When I was in 11th grade, I registered for the program and started at the University of Minnesota, where I was able to take full-time classes and graduated high school with over 70 college credits for free. Now I'm in the honors program at the University of Minnesota studying education and English, and I was only able to really do this because I was in PSEO. I was extremely worried about being able to afford college when I was in high school, and I was also bored in my high school. I didn't feel like I was being challenged enough, and the PSEO program allowed me to challenge myself and allowed me to save a lot of money for my future and for my future career. From there, I have research about how this program is able to save the state money. In a 2020 study by Mark Michikanis and People for PSEO, they found that the PSEO program will save students and families seeking post-secondary education an estimated $59.8 million annually, and Minnesota taxpayers $15.1 million annually. These savings are majorly impactful, and PSEO allows students to also graduate from their post-secondary education earlier if they would like, and which would allow them to enter the workforce more quickly, therefore generating the economy in different various ways. It has also been found that PSEO students who took PSEO or concurrent enrollment in their high school have had higher high school graduation rates than their peers. PSEO students have a 97.6% rate of graduation in 4 years, while comparatively to their peers who have an 83.7% rate of graduation. This is a 13.9% difference between their graduation rates. This is extremely impressive and also a major impact on their education quality. Overall, this bill will help expand PSEO and give more students access to it. And I think it is an extremely important option for students in Minnesota because it allows for so many students who may not have had access to post-secondary ed over the years. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Hanlon. Now, I'm sorry, is it Rani? I can't get the last name, I'm sorry.
No worries.
How do you pronounce the last name?
Mukherjee, Rani Mukherjee.
He's telling me don't. Okay. Thank you. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name and who you're with for the record. You may begin. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Rani Mukherjee. I'm a senior at Wayzata High School, and I've done full-time PSEO at the University of Minnesota for 2 years. I'm also the president of the UMN PSEO Student Association, so I represent almost 700 other PSEO students, and I'm a program manager at People for PSEO. I'd like to share a little bit about my own experience in the PSEO program. Many factors influenced my decision to participate in PSEO. I knew I'd be exchanging a lot of the high school experience for more freedom. I've experienced college life, picked classes from a wide variety, and taken more rigorous coursework. PSEO also offers financial benefits, which I only learned about through my brother. He was able to graduate 2 years early from the University of California, Berkeley. His PSEO credit saved our family over $130,000 in tuition and residence costs. My PSEO journey wasn't always smooth. I certainly felt alienated from my high school. Oftentimes, I wasn't allowed in the high school during school hours without a backpack when I came back for some activities, and was forced to wait in the foyer or my car. Many leadership opportunities were closed to me, as clubs didn't allow full-time PSEO students to apply, despite Subdivision 11 of PSEO law, participation in high school activities, which states, enrolling in a course under this section shall not, by itself, prohibit a pupil from participating in activities sponsored by the pupil's high school. Our school's website also did not tell me that students can use the school's computers to take PSEO courses online, though the MDE states it must be on the website. As Zeke will explain, despite explicit statements from the Minnesota Department of Education, and reminders from the last 7 years, not giving these and other critical details is common in many Minnesota high schools. Thank you for listening. We hope you will vote for SF 4087.
Thank you, Ms. Mukherjee. Appreciate it. And last up is Zeke Jackson. Looks like another, I'm assuming another PSEO student or graduate. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name, who you're with for the record. You may begin.
Thanks, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. That's absolutely right. My name is Zeke Jackson. I'm the Executive Director of People for PSEO, a youth-led nonprofit that advocates for the expansion of the PSEO program and to save students money and time. I graduated from the University of Minnesota as a PSEO student. I'm currently a junior there studying political science and entrepreneurship. And I'll be brief. I think the previous testifiers have explained this bill really, really well. I want to ask for your support in this bill. It is a really clear, simple bill that addresses some of the most pressing issues with the PSEO program today. One thing I want to note is that the number of PSEO students in this state are severely underreported. Up to 50% of all the students in the state might not be reported to the Department of Education. And this bill will fix that, provides a clear solution to that by requiring districts to report that information to the Minnesota Department of Education. This is a good step in the right direction. It costs the state no money, and I think this is just the beginning. There's a lot of things that we'd like to see improve with the PSEO program, and we're thankful for the help from the Minnesota Department of Education and schools to take those right steps. I'm here for any questions you might have, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Senator Isaacson, did you have a?
Yep, thank you. First of all, I just want to be really clear that this in no way is promoting or facilitating more concurrent enrollment. It's completely focused on just PSEO. Is that right, Senator Coleman?
Senator Coleman?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Isaacson, can you repeat the question?
I just want to make clear that we're focusing entirely on supporting and advertising and reporting on just PSEO, not concurrent enrollment. Is that correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay. I'm a big fan, and I think that's not just because I work at the schools and teach at schools as PSEO students. I'm a little self-motivated there, but I think it's the right thing to do for our students. I would say, Mr. Chair, just something to think about would be, and I don't know if a researcher here can answer this question, but when a student goes from high school, like wonderful students we have here today, how does that affect the school's funding? Because I know the school ends up paying for a lot of the tab there, the local or public school does. And I'm wondering, how does that affect it as that increases? Is that more money that we're taking away from the public school to do this?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Jackson would like to answer that.
Well, we'll go to Mr. Jackson, but we also have Ms. Hoffer here too. But Mr. Jackson, we'll give that a shot. Ms. Hoffer, you can come on up. Stand by.
Yeah, so you're right. So when the money for the PSEO program is following the student from the high school to the college. Right. When a student is a full-time PSEO student, the high school is keeping 12% of the funding that it would otherwise be receiving. And that's how the student's education is being paid for. So if they're a part-time student, it'd be higher than that 12%.
Is that a head nod? I get a head nod from Ms. Hoffer there. So, anything to add, Ms. Hoffer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator Isaacson. I would just add that the .12 that Mr. Jackson is referring to is the amount of average daily membership that the student would generate. So .12 of the average daily membership would stay with the district. And then the remaining .88 average daily membership cost is used to pay the institution for the cost of the higher education program.
So, thank you. So, Mr. Chair, all I would add to that, if I could, is just that I think this is great, and we should expand it as much as we possibly can, and B, I think we should supplement our schools to take on that burden so it's not draining them of the money they need to operate as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Isaacson. Yeah, the sheet that Mr. Nathan referred to is from MDE from 2019. Pretty good success, whether it's 100% related to this, who knows, but the correlation is there that it's pretty successful. So one quick, you go, okay? So with that, closing comments, Senator Coleman?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members, for the time. And I just have to say, as a mom, I worry a lot about the future. But I noticed myself getting really excited about it, sitting next to these bright young individuals today. And if this is what PSEO produces, we should be doing everything in our power to expand access and opportunities within PSEO. So thank you for the consideration. Thank you so much to my brilliant testifiers, and I really appreciate the time.
Thank you, Senator Coleman. More good ideas, more solutions, and thank you, testifiers. Very helpful, very informative, and good luck. Maybe we'll see you sometime in the future. With that, Senate file, we're going to lay this one over here, okay? Senate file 4087 will be laid over. Thank you. Okay, Senator Duckworth, get back up front.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senate File 3744, we have an author's amendment.
Yes, Mr. Chair, the A2 amendment.
A2 amendment. Members, author's amendment A2. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, got it. So I'll just say well, you can read it, it's in your packet. It's almost self-explanatory. But anyway, Senator Duckworth, you may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, members of the committee. I'd like to take a brief second to explain Senate File 3744. This legislation clarifies and enhances what schools can count as high school student instructional time for purposes of complying with the length of school year hours of instruction statute. Current law requires school boards to provide a minimum of 1,020 hours of instruction for high school students each year. This bill clarifies that schools may include in those hours the instructional time where it is locally determined by the board and by the teacher that a student is actively engaged in the educational process of the district and all other relevant programmatic statutory requirements are met. Folks that support this proposal believe that Senate File 3744 will spur innovation and permit more flexible and real-world learning options for students, both on and off campus. It will also allow the continuation of successful learning models that were tried during the required distance learning over the past 2 years. And with that, Mr. Chair, I've got a few testifiers that will be very succinct in why they think this is good legislation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Senator Duckworth. We have a number of testifiers, a lot of them online. Now, these testifiers are all super smart people. They're professionals in the teaching world. So and we got about 15 minutes. So I'm going to ask you to be as brief as possible, and please don't repeat the previous stuff. So I want to give you time, but brevity and try not to repeat. We got some good stuff here, and the amendment we took was recommended by MSBA and some others. So thank you. First on the list is Superintendent Barb Dufferin, Welcome to the committee. Please state your name and who you're with for the record. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair Chamberlain and members of the committee. Thank you for allowing me to speak in support of Senate File 3744. I am Barb Dufferin, Superintendent of Mahtomedi Schools, and I am testifying today on behalf of MSBA, AMSD, and MASA. The language in front of you today would allow high schools to have needed flexibility to meet the needs of their learners by removing barriers. The current definition of instructional hours has created an education system around schedules and attendance tied to funding, which puts time as the focus rather than student engagement and student learning. The rigidity of the system doesn't allow our teachers to do what is best for student learning and growth, because we know that students learn differently from one another, often at different paces. In our district, the school board has given direction to rethink and reimagine education with students at the center. Our strategic plan, created by community members, teachers, and students, has identified our secondary schedule as a barrier to student learning. Our current 6-period day schedule limits student choice, while needed academic support interventions replace electives. As we work to improve our high school schedule, we reviewed the U.S. News highly ranked schools of similar size and found that many had schedules with a great deal of flexibility. More flexibility built into the system, which this bill provides, would allow time for students to get support when they need it and before they fail, thus meeting the needs of the students, not the systems. The draft schedule from our strategic plan work also allows for flexibility in the length of the class period, so teachers can extend a class when needed for deeper, more engaged learning, like science experiments or simulations. I'm excited for the potential impact of a new schedule, and without the flexibility in this bill language provides, Mahtomedi's ability to fulfill this will not be possible. This bill does not change academic standards or the accountability system, and it does not require any district to make a change. Ultimately, we want the statute to be clear that locally elected school boards have the flexibility to approve non-traditional coursework without having to ask for a waiver or be penalized. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Superintendent. That was a great introduction. So next up is Mr. Brown. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name and who you're with for the record. You may begin. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Joseph Brown, former superintendent at Fairmont Area Schools for the past 11 years. I'm speaking in support of Senate File 3744. Currently, Minnesota students attend public schools 15% of the entire year. 85% of the time, they are not in our school buildings. Just as there is a shortage of certified teachers, there is a severe shortage of skilled workers, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, welders, HVAC engineers, and bricklayers. Well, Fairmont Area Schools currently has 5 vocational academies: welding, agriculture, automotive, culinary arts, and construction trades. Fairmont Area Schools saw the need to increase the number of skilled workers and implemented Saturday and summer welding classes for 15 4-hour days of instruction. Students earn high school credit for the completion of these 60 hours of instruction, but the school did not receive or generate any state aid because the classes were not taught during the traditional school day from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Zerke-Built Manufacturing relocated their plant to Fairmont due to the success of our welding academy. They employ 75 welders, including 12 of our recent graduates. On February 9th of 2021, the Fairmont voters voted to approve a $6.7 million vocational expansion to create an HVAC academy, an expanded wood shop, and a building large enough to build houses for Habitat for Humanity over the 12 months. With a 67% yes vote. Well, Senate File 3744 will provide local school districts with the flexibility to teach classes that are best suited for the type of class outside of the traditional school day. We know that vocational classes are best taught in longer blocks of time. Due to the number of baby boomers retiring in Minnesota and all across the country, we know that Minnesota needs to replace over 200,000 skilled workers in the next few years. Well, Senate File 3744 will encourage high schools to increase the number of vocational classes that are taught outside of their traditional school day. This will result in additional skilled workers. I'd be glad to yield to any questions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Next up, Alyssa Saucer. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name, who you're with for the record, and you may begin. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Chamberlain and committee members. My name is Melissa Saucer. I've served on the Farmington School Board for over 11 years, on the Intermediate 917 School Board for 9 years, and I'm currently serving as chair. And I'm a former member of the Minnesota School Board's Board of Directors, executive member. I come before you today speaking to an issue that I've advocated for to our school board members from across the state for over a decade, and I come here with their support. Learning cannot be determined simply by the amount of time a student sits in a class, and learning can happen anytime, anywhere, not just during the designated school day. As we have heard at the board table from principals and parents, seat time does not guarantee academic mastery. In some cases, students need less time than the required hours to meet the standard for a class. And other times, students need much more time than the requirement to meet these goals. The hope would be that by expanding how districts can account for instructional hours would be to move to a true focus on learning and not just attendance. To put it simply, we would like to see students in a class for the time they need to master the skill or acquire the knowledge regardless of when that takes place. The current instructional hours statute and corresponding rulemaking make it difficult to accommodate the redesign of our traditional classes for hybrid and digital classes, as well as a variety of classes students take outside what is considered the traditional school day. At Farmington High School, we currently offer multiple classes, jazz band, health, pre-calculus, and trigonometry that our students have received credit for, but they do not generate revenue. We are asking for flexibility so students can have academic schedule that can help meet their lifestyle as well, whether it's a 0-hour class so they can leave earlier for work, or to pursue another passion of theirs, or to help out with a need at home. Bottom line is about having the local control for each individual school district and board to have the flexibility needed to design coursework that best fits the needs of each student. We're all here today to focus on the needs of each and every student in the state. Please pass Senate File 3744 to continue to allow each student to succeed in their own timeframe with the help of our local teachers and districts. Thank you for your time, and thank you, Senator Duckworth, for this bill today.
Thank you, Ms. Saucer. Next up is Mr. Selwood. Welcome to the committee.
Oh.
Where are you up there? What's it? It's Johnny. I see a Johnny's.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Selwood, welcome to the committee. Please state your name, who you're with for the record. You may begin. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, I appreciate the opportunity to speak before you and share my personal experiences. My name is Johnny Selwood, and I'm currently finishing up my senior year at Mahtomedi High School, and I support the proposed revisions to SF 3744 since they would directly impact students like myself. Beginning in middle school, I actively participated in my school's theater program on the technical side of things, and as my passion and curiosity developed, I sought to have more experience in the music and events broadcasting crew. Since the live events were usually in the evening and the crew was fully student-run, this class regularly involved out-of-school work, but hands-on experience with skills like cooperation, leadership, problem-solving, decision-making, communication, and technological proficiency. However, in order to be a member of this crew, I had to attend a class period every day dedicated to preparing for these events, regardless of whether or not there was one. And while having an empty period during the school day would allow for some convenient downtime or preparation for events, attendance for this period was mandatory to receive credit for the class. And work hours outside of school would be as much as 10 to 15 hours during busy sports seasons, but nearly zero next and during other times of the year. These proposed revisions would allow for flexibility as education occurs for this type of program, while also freeing up an additional class period for other studies. Especially now that I no longer have the opportunity to explore more passions in high school due to my upcoming graduation, I wish that I would have had the ability to do so, and I know that other students feel the same way. Thank you again for your time, and I'm now open to any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Selwood. Appreciate that. And lastly is Mr. Gregory.
Yes, hello,
There
Mr.
you
Chair
are.
and members of the committee.
Welcome to the committee. Please state your name, who you're with for the record. You may begin.
My name is Adam Gregory. Thank you for allowing me to speak in support of SF 3744. I've taught at Belgrade Bruton Rosa High School, a small rural district of about 650 students in West Minnesota, for about 16 years as a science educator. Many of those around me tell me I'm a successful teacher. I don't always feel it myself, but you know, there seems to be some consensus. I feel like I have good student relationships. I put effort into designing meaningful and engaging science lessons and labs. Before the pandemic, I would have considered myself a teacher that was reaching all of my learners. When COVID forced our school briefly into distance learning, I discovered a side of my students which I had never seen before. My students that often sat at the back of the class, the ones that were quiet, who just nodded their heads when I inquired if the class understood my latest topic, and often carried average grades, all of a sudden came to life when they had one-on-one opportunities with me to meet via Zoom and other platforms. With the help of an iPad and a digital pen and some creative multimedia work, I was able to share my screen, example problems, and have students share their work in real time and demonstrate their understanding. Students who normally would have been afraid in front of a large group to share their learning found their voice. I found myself in a world where students would prefer to schedule one-on-one Zoom sessions outside of the normally scheduled class times in order to practice advanced science concepts, rather than be lost and outvoiced by the more vocal majority of my classes. I was able to build new relationships and view smiles which I had never seen before. In truth, I discovered while I held the belief that I was teaching the majority for years, I was in fact failing the minority. We know that the time is now for change. The pandemic amplified the design flaws of our current school systems. Through redesign, we can increase engagement, learner agency, and eliminate persistent inequalities. Learners no longer want or should just spend time sitting in classes learning about the same thing at the same time and at the same pace. Flexibilities such as blending learning will allow learners of all abilities to advance at the pace that works for them. It empowers qualified teachers to become a designer and a coach who can give support while keeping students engaged, stimulated, and connected in more meaningful ways. Thank you for your support of SF 3744, and I will stay around for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Gregory. No other testifiers, but Senator Uyghur had wanted to share some.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Senator Duckworth, to all the testifiers. I wholeheartedly support this. Actually, I did carry the bill a few years back, and I have gone to special meetings, hearing more from teachers, from administrators, and most importantly, from students. This works. I strongly support it.
Thank you, Senator Uyghur. Anything else? Senator Swedinsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. During my teaching, I used to tell my students all the time, don't let school get in the way of your education. And the hour and a half.
You?
Yeah, that was me. And
I don't know if you know what that means. What you just said.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going.
Thank you. So to not let the cells and bells of the traditional classroom stifle or limit the amount of education that's potentially out there. And I saw the 4 bills today kind of promoted that type of thing. And the other big picture for me today was the stigma of that we've got to do a better job of erasing, of not doing a 4-year college, that maybe my path is something a little bit different. There's a stigma associated with that, those types of vocations, and that's very unfortunate. But the big picture, and the other, the flexibility of all the programs today and the innovation and the experimentation, I applaud. But I struggled today, and I continue to struggle with what the purpose of K through 12 education is. Is the purpose of a K-12, E-12 public school education to prepare a workforce for the 21st century, or is the purpose to create a thinking, civically engaged, liberal arts, not liberal in the conservative liberal expression of the words, but a strong liberal arts-based education that's general and uniform for all of our currently almost 1 million students. So I just want to thank all the bills that were introduced today to continue that struggle inside my head, because it's a tough one for me. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Swedinsky. Senator Isaacson.
I would just challenge Senator Swedinsky to consider that maybe it's to do both those things.
We agree.
I would like to change my mind now. I spoke too soon. That's on me. It's all over here. It's my bad. So.
No, I would agree with that assessment. It's both. You can do both. You don't have to do one or the other. So anything else, members? Okay, if not, good ideas, good solutions to problems, flexibility, but most importantly, to get the help and the service to the children that they need. to best support them. So with that, Senate File 3, and final comments, Senator Duckworth.
Mr. Chair, just to say that this bill is a great complement to Senator Coleman's bills earlier. We had the opportunity to hear from a lot of young people today, which I think is great. And lastly, I did want to thank staff and folks that helped coordinate the hearing and the testifiers of the first bill. That was pretty remarkable to see, and I appreciate their work and the technology that we had to be able to make that possible. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Duckworth. Thank you, members. Thank you, testifiers. A good, positive day of solutions and ideas to fix some problems. So with that, Senate File 3744, as amended, going to general orders. Recommended to pass, send it to general orders as amended. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nope. Good. So thank you, Senator Duckworth. Thank you, members. We do not plan to meet next week. That is the plan right now. So thank you. We'll talk to you soon. We're adjourned.